All right, guys, so let's talk about this. So, in Mount Pocono, Pennsylvania, there's a camp. As you can see, this guy, Enrique Mercado, he basically has been arrested, okay, for 300 accounts of child abuse. 300. So he is responsible for raping an 11-year-old girl, 4th of July of 2021. Now, at this particular camp, he was working there at the time. And basically, what the girl said is that he did what he did, and he told them all that he, killed their families and, basically make bad things happen to them and the people that they love if they told anyone. And so now he gets caught in 2026. I've said this a long time ago. My kids have been to camp before, but, and one thing about when you go to camps usually do this whole cell phones can't be used only to certain times or some shit. They don't want you to really use the cell phone. They might allow text, certain times of the day, which is bullshit because I get the fact that of what camp is about. Okay, we didn't always have cell phones, but your kids are still minors. And especially if it's a Christian camp, people think that your kids are safe. Now, a lot of times what happens is parents feel like, they love their kids and everything that they do, the kids are involved. Taking them to school, picking them up from school. Maybe the kids ride a bus to school, but there's always something. You got to cook, got to, mark homework. The responsible parents that try to do things that's in their kids' lives that do these things. But then it's times where the husband and wife, don't get a chance to do anything together. So they might just, because camp is usually like 2 weeks, a week or two. So what happens is they'll we could send the kids to camp. They'll be safe. They got the counselors and everybody, and and then we can go away while the kids are away, and then they feel like they don't have anything to worry about. Meanwhile, while you're spending your quality time together, and it's not that you're doing something wrong. Your intentions aren't wrong. It's just unfortunate that you really can't trust people. And I'm going to tell you, these Christian camps, I don't know if this particular one is one, but these Christian camps are one of the biggest and easiest for these kind of cases to happen because of the word Christian. Oh, they wouldn't do that. You think they're safe. And most kids don't tell these things right away. And you don't know how this thing affects a person, and years later they come out and tell you. Look at how many times we didn't see just 2026 alone. How many women have came out and confronted the pastor of a church for something that, he did to them when they were kids. And they come out and tell how they were molested, raped, or whatever. And in the church by a pastor. And so you think your kids are safe. I'm going to tell you something. Things change for reasons. And he was working there. So when you're working as one of the counselors, you're supposed to be a protector, right? You're supposed to be a guide. You're supposed to be there to make sure everything, people are safe. And he ends up doing what he did. I'll be very careful sending my kids off to some place just because there's other grown adults around. In today's time, especially, man, you got racist people. Look, let me tell you something. They're not above poisoning you, lying on you, setting you up to get in trouble. Make any excuse to attack you. Anything. It's just, and that can go for so many different things. But the difference with camp is because you're not there, and you're trusting that these people involved are going to take care of your kids. And they'll get up at these Christian camps and they'll verses. They'll pray. They'll have their little praise half hour or whatever, however long they do it or whatever. They do all these things. Someone will rape your kid and then go, and Lord, please forgive me for what I did, Lord. For your word says that the spirit of the Lord does not always dwell within you. And Lord, I was vulnerable, all this bull, yeah, whatever. Then they, play the victim during their prayer. Meanwhile, they're in here having sex with your kid or molesting your kid or doing whatever. Your kid comes home and don't tell you. This isn't shocking. And like I said, I don't know if this one particular was a Christian camp, but do your homework on these camps about the truth. No, I'm not talking about don't go on the website of the camp. It's not like they're gonna put up there, hey, only 55 kids were molested in the past 6 years, versus other places where it's up in the hundreds and 200s. No, they're not gonna tell you that. I'm talking about check the news about these camps. I personally am not a fan of it. I'm just not a fan of it. Be perfectly honest with you, man. I mean, let's just be real. Unless you're going away, even if it's like, nah, I just, you know what, man, we put it to you like this. You could take time off. You have sick days, you have benefit time, right? Your kids in school, stay home and fuck each other's brains out. Cause pretty much, unless you're going away, and it's like every day that we're on vacation, we gonna screw and fucking do all types of shit, and we gonna go out and just do something different. Because if you're just gonna go away just to go walk up and down somewhere, sit outside in the fucking lawn chair in the sun, and just sitting up on your cell phone, you could do that shit at home. And I don't care what it is. I'm not gonna put my kids in a position where I something happens that comes back to haunt us later. But I'm saying, make time for each other. Make that quality time. That's a problem that couples have. You think you have to be away somewhere, and well, how are we gonna do that? We got the kids, and if you can't get one of your relatives to come and stay with the kids or something like that, you think that it's like you're missing out on something, right? We know you guys deserve to be able to do things that you used to before the kids were there and all that. We get all of that, but at the same time, it's like you planned on having kids, things in your life change. Make quality time for each other. It's as simple as that. I know what it's like. The kids go to sleep and you don't want them to hear you, and you can't really get up in it like you want to sometimes, because it's like, damn, you gotta kind of, hey, you know what, man? Don't make excuses. Do what you got to do. Protect your kids. Like I said, you can always put in for, hey, you know what? Let's take about a week off. You know what I'm saying? And y'all can do things together throughout the whole day while your kids are at school. When they, you gotta improvise. It's as simple as that. This is sad, man. It's sick. Because, every single day, 99.9% of everything that pop up on your phone is bad news. And this is no different. Here we are with this situation where kids are just not safe. And how is this going on at a camp? Because people are trusting other people to do what they're supposed to do. Now, in fact, it says that when he did this in 2021, he was 14 years old. Yeah, it said that he was 14, which means he's 19 now. And this is why, there was another case that I was reading about, and there was a guy who was just 22 years old, and, same thing with 10, 11-year-old girls. I just did a video about females doing this type of stuff, like teachers and judges and, all these career women messing around with underage people. You got to understand, there's just people out here that's just sick in the head. I always say, you can't handle a grown adult. Because I don't understand, like, you're not trying to do this with other camp counselors and other grown adults. You're doing this with kids. Now, for this kid, he was 14 at the time. And he's doing this to 11-year-olds. Isn't it funny how people pick and choose, though? Because I remember the 22-year-old, when they convicted him, I remember reading a story where basically it said that his attorney, always the same thing, he wasn't on his meds. Why you have people working for you that can't contain themselves? All they take is one day, I don't take my pills, and all of a sudden I'm a booty bandit. I with little children. Same thing. We have these police officers that's on all types of meds, all types of psych evaluations, and these people are not right in their head, but they're out here brutalizing people. Somebody has to get killed or beaten really badly, or embarrassed, violated, disrespected before someone can finally strip this person of their badge. Should have never hired them in the first place. And in fact, if you don't understand how to screen people properly and know that these officers need to know, you're not here to be criminals. You're here to stop criminals. We'd rather de-escalate and keep the peace. Okay? Everything now is swing first. Don't explain nothing. I'm a cop, bitch. You don't have no rights. When you see these type of things happen, remember, you guys that keep acting like freedom of speech has no limitations, you got to understand the mindset behind that. And this is why when you set yourself up for failure, who you got to blame? Certain ways that y'all think, I can't think that way. And I'm glad that I can't. I understand the wrong in it. This little kid, I don't, it just think. Raping someone is wrong on every level. But just imagine, these are little kids, man. These are little kids. Who raised you? How do you have it in your mind? And we're not even talking about, here's a guy older than this girl. He's attracted to her. She's younger than him, but he wants to date her. We're not even talking about that. We're not even talking about a situation where there's no real harm or no foul in the mind of this person. We're talking about someone decides, I'm going to take your virginity, whether you like it or not. And if you tell, I'm going to kill your family and I'm going to kill you. So imagine if this kid would have got away with this for all the years that he did get away with it. But let's say he relocates or he goes somewhere, lives, and they never find this kid. Just say, and he goes and does the same thing and worse to someone else. And 300 accounts of child abuse. I mean, what else did he do? I wouldn't suggest people send their kids to camp. And when we went, when I took my kids, I told them, I said, listen, I don't know what your phone policy is. I said, but so you know, I will be checking on my kids. And I will be, video chatting with them, and I will be making sure that my kids are safe. I said, nothing personal against you guys, but I don't know you, you don't know me, and you don't love my kids, I do. So whenever my kids, I don't care if it's lunch, whatever they're doing, my kids will be allowed to call me. And so I know that they're okay. There's a lot of shit that happens. Oh, I understand your concern. But here I'm like, listen, you can say that with conviction. I don't know any of you. I'm not asking you, and I'm not telling you to get your permission. I'm telling you, you will let my kids call, or I will have to come up here. And that's exactly what happened, though. Oh, yeah, every day. Actually, you make sure you call, let me know. I said, hey, you okay? You have no bruises on your body, nothing wrong. Now, I was checking on I was making sure. And the problem with a lot of you is you guys, like I said, and this was a Christian camp. Wasn't my idea. It was their mom's idea. But regardless, I made sure. And the camp is not far from us. But bottom line, at the end of the day, I don't care, even if, listen, and this is sad, but even when auntie, uncle, whoever, certain people, your kids are around, you gotta understand, you don't even know all of your like siblings. your relatives. You don't know all their friends. You don't know who they're around. And you might have relatives that got some really screwed up ways about them. You might not know it, or you just might think, but he or she wouldn't do that around them. But you might just, who knows? You don't know what your kids are exposed to. I grew up seeing a whole bunch of shit so I know from experience that if nobody's around, grown adults would do some things, or people that comes around, your relatives, your mom and dad don't know. That's why everybody always think uncle and auntie the coolest, because uncle and auntie usually let nephew and niece get away with a bunch of shit and hey, if your mother, your father know, they ain't gonna let you come over here no more. So because you have fun with uncle and auntie, right? You got freedom, things of that nature. I'm be real with you. And especially if you go to check your kids into some camp, and they have that policy where they don't want them using the phones. If something go wrong, how would you know? And even in schools, you see things happen. I remember a kid a girl got beat up in school, and I will never forget that, man. And my son knew the girl, and when he saw her mom, she was just acting all nonchalant, and he looked and said, "She can't know." Her daughter was in the hospital for 3 hours before. She didn't even know. Nobody called, nothing. My son was the one to tell her. She said, "What?" And when she called the school, then that's how she wound up finding out what happened. Like, why nobody called me? Oh, we were trying and blah, 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 and this and that. And this is school. So you imagine you at some camp somewhere, man, you never know. And let me tell you something. I've been to camp as a kid. And I remember how they had where we were in our cabins. What the girls would do was, because what happened was this: in the mornings, all the girls, the camp counselor, like they would get the girls up, so the girls would shower. The boys would shower on our side, the girls would shower. So they always what they supposed to had. What they were supposed to do was rotate it so where you could have like 2 adults out, because they had like 8 teachers. So they had it broken up into 4s, into like different groups. And so that way, while 2 teachers, are there on campus, they would shower, and then the other 2 would wait. How they did it, have somebody that's out there. Well, this particular, how they was doing it was, and this is my point, they didn't follow that. What they did was all the girls went, and the counselors would, eat and whatever. Then now when the girls come out, they would all go in and shower. And so now the girls are all, in the cabin. What they were doing, hey guys, they would splash titties, turn around, or get completely naked and just run and jiggle their shit. So we, oh shit, the girls when they get naked, this was school. You think we came home and told our parents what happened? So what happened? How was camp? How was fun? Girls was flashing us. No. So now all of a sudden there's a curiosity there. Shit, it's summertime. We ain't got to go to school when we get back. Oh, and yeah. So now here you are as kids. Way before you should be having sex. Guess what's happening? Because it's summertime and parents got to work. You didn't see titties and ass. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, this is my point. You come in the room and your little daughter's laying up there hugging her teddy bear with her little Cinderella, sleeping vagina. Oh, my little angel. You know what that shit reminds me of? Y'all remember that scene on the house party? When Kid and Tisha Campbell's character was getting ready to, mess around and, and then her parents came home and Kid had to run out the window. When they came up and how she was all hugged, oh, I decided to stay home. Oh, little angel. Yeah, exactly. Nah, ain't no little angel. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, kids have a certain curiosity. And then too, look, let's just say if they lied. Let's say if it was with consent, right? Who knows? I'm just saying, well, according to the evidence, he got caught. Well, that he's guilty. Well, let's just say even if it's a situation where somebody lies and like say that you took it, but you didn't, right? They gave it up willingly. The whole point even in that is regardless to what happened, do you as a parent want that drama? Do you want to have to be back and forth in court over some bullshit? Do you want to have to deal with that? And then too, mentally, in this day and time, people embrace their mental health issues. That's why I hear people talk about accept me with my flaws and all. Nah, the hell with you, bitch. You take your flawed ass somewhere else. And see, my thing with that is this. That person is telling you, fuck you. I'm not trying to change for you. Because you want to know what? She could be an alcoholic. She could be a drug addict. She could be a lying cheat. She could just be a motherfucker that's always in some pissy ass mood. Y'all live together. Y'all under the same roof, but y'all really don't like each other. So somebody come talking all that, accept me with my flaws and nah. That's bullshit. Now I'm talking about behaviors. I'm talking about attitude. And even sometimes physically, depending on what that is. There's things. Yeah, there's things. I mean, let's just be real. There's a whole lot of immaturity out here. And there's a lot of irresponsible people. And if we're not intelligent enough to protect our own kids, well, then what's going to happen with our kids going forward? They don't know enough to take care of themselves. They need us to be there for them. And this is crazy, man. So this dude, Enrique Mercado, you know, for you to threaten somebody, for you to, take sex from somebody and threaten them if they tell what you're going to do, you committed the worst kind of crime to go to jail for. Because when them booty bandits in jail find out what you did, yeah, it's going to be a whole lot of dudes in there trying to do the same thing to you. Now, I don't know the guy. Don't know if he can hold his own to fight. Not really don't care. But more than likely, you're going to go to jail and become somebody's bitch. Because there's nothing tough about a dude that's going to try to take something, especially from a child. Grown women are not strong enough to physically fight us off if we really men. You understand what I'm saying? So some little 11-year-old girl, and you were, come on. I mean, and he was working there. And that's the point what I'm saying too. It's not even like this was one another. It don't matter who did it. But the fact that this is a person working there, so you feel like my kid is good in these people's hands, right? And he's done this to multiple girls. So yeah, man, I want to talk about this. Like, it's sad that people have these thoughts in their head. And the fact that this boy had it in him to threaten them. He threatened, like, you gonna give me what I want. Let me do what or I'm gonna kill your family and I'm gonna kill you. Yeah. Freedom of speech, huh? Y'all don't understand. People just feel entitled. And if this kid is on meds, if this kid has screws loose, why was he working in the first place? But they're going to say, oh, we didn't know. Didn't hear any statement from the camp counselors, anybody that was working there. I don't know what all of the accounts were about, but it was 300. 300. Goddamn, this boy was on a goddamn raping spree. Like, what the hell was he doing? 300. Anyways, I don't know what everything time, well, how long. I mean, his jail time, what his sentences. I don't know. The article doesn't say all of that, but this was ridiculous, man. This is ridiculous. And the thing is, all these different situations come up with these rapists. What gives you what makes you think you have the right to just go take something from somebody? This is why when people go to jail for things like this, they don't need to have be able to go to jail and just be comfortable and not get no. They need people worse than them to do to them what they did to other people. That's what they need to happen. So now when you find yourself telling an 11-year-old girl, you're going to give me sex and whatever else I want, and I'm going to kill your family. Now just imagine how much of a bitch you going to feel like to have some dudes in jail with they shit in their hand telling you bend over, motherfucker, or we gonna kill you on this motherfucker. And your bitch ass too much of a bitch to fight back. And now you got happening to you what you did to somebody. And you wanna know what? No matter who you tell in jail, what's gonna happen? Y'all all a bunch of fucking jailbirds. Y'all a bunch of criminals with nothing. That's why you in jail, because you ain't shit. This ain't self-defense. This isn't protecting your family, protecting yourself. This is you committing a crime against a child. And then people, even when somebody changed, but they got their life together. Hey, man, you did it. And it's hard. It should be hard for any of you to feel bad for somebody like that. But somewhere in this world, you got people that know about this case. And I bet you they're going, oh man, that little bitch knew what she was doing. Nobody ever wants to be accountable for what they do. So even when you're a grown man and woman, and you're out here having sex with somebody young enough to be your son or daughter, people still make excuses like, yeah, you both do know what you're doing, but you should know better. Just like when you have kids that make a dumb decision, you as a parent no. That's when you intervene so your son or daughter don't go out here and put their life in jeopardy or somebody else's life in jeopardy. Anyway, comments. Let me know what y'all think about this. 300 accounts of child abuse, man. Your kids ain't safe, y'all. Don't just assume that they're safe. Don't just assume. Always look into what's going on. And I said it again, you can't go on a website that nobody's going to tell you the downside of what they are running. They're going to try to make you think this is your kids home away from home. We treat everybody like a family, blah, blah, blah. They're going to make you think that your kids are just, and talk about the Bible and God and all that. And you, yes. And you think that your kids are okay. Same one saying all that might be the one committing the damn crime against your kids. And I can tell you, you go to camp, them camp counselors be fucking, they be doing all kinds of shit. I know. That's why I'm telling you guys. Protect your kids. Catch you guys in the next video.